Hi there, everyone, and welcome to Paper Wishes Weekly Webisodes. I'm Sarah Newman, and I'm so happy you're joining me for this episode of Saturday with Sara. Today, I'm excited to show you a really fun collection of papers and embellishments. We have pattern papers and embossed die cuts from Paper Rose in a collection called Strawberry Friends. And then to go along this week, we have 3 gorgeous gold pearl dazzle sheets. So let's take a closer look, and we can start with our 6x6 patterned paper pack. You can see the swatches of the designs here, but it's always fun to flip through. So here you can see some of the images can be used as a backing sheet, as borders, or you can trim apart each of these individual elements and use them as card focals or for the inside of your card. So this pack contains 18 double-sided pattern papers. You'll have 3 each of 12 different designs. So you'll have some nice background images, some border pieces, and some really sweet and whimsical illustrations. I just adore this collection. And of course, they're all designed to work perfectly together. Now they also perfectly coordinate with the embossed die cuts. This set is 6 inches by 8 inches and includes all of these really sweet embossed pop-out die cuts. So if I wiggle this, I think you might be able to see the shine of that embossing on there. It's a very subtle touch, but it really does add to these overall designs and gives something a little bit tactile in there as well. Again, the illustrations are adorable, just very, very sweet and charming. Then to go along, we also have some dazzles. So let me grab these here and we can take a look. Now here we've got 3 sheets. You will have doilies, you will have lacy butterflies, and you will also have roses. What's nice about these is that they do add a really fun touch of metallic shine. You can back the butterflies with some of the pattern papers if you want to, or apply them directly onto a patterned or solid cardstock. We've got some borders and some smaller accents on here, as well as some dazzle messages. So as you can see, we have got a lot to play with today, and I am really glad that you're joining me. I'm super excited to explore the creative possibilities with you. So come play with us. Let's start with this sweet card, which uses the house paper as the background. I love how easily the embossed die cuts can be used with this kind of scene setting paper to create a really simple and effective design. So this is the sheet that I use. Now this measures 6 inches by 6 inches, and the card blanks that I'm using today are the ones that I use for almost every webisode. They're from Paper Wishes and they measure 5 inches by 6.5 inches. So I do need to do a little bit of trimming to accommodate this design. So what I've done first of all, and I'll put these 2 together so you can see, I've trimmed off a very narrow strip from just the top of this pattern paper. Then I've inked the top and the bottom edges using the Velvet Fawn ink pad from Hunky Dory. And then I've matted that onto white cardstock, a very thin border here, top and bottom. And then I've got space for my scalloped border. The scalloped border is really easy to make using the 10 square and scalloped cutting dies set. This is one of my go-to die sets. And you've got in here a large 5-inch scalloped square, and this is what I've used. I've die cut this from plain cardstock, and then from here, just used a paper trimmer, or you could even use your scissors to cut off a border from either side. And this is what I've used on my pattern paper. So if I bring this in here, you can see all you need to do is glue one to the top and one to the bottom to create a really fun design. Now they could go side to side as well. It's also fun too because with these borders you can decide how much of that border or how little of it you want to show. So that's what I've done here. And I'm using cardstock for my card from the At the Lake collection. And that's where I've gotten not only the white cardstock, but also this really pretty kind of charcoal gray. And I've used this cardstock collection for all of my cards in today's webisode. And so from there, I've added everything onto the front of my card. I inked the long edges also with that velvet fawn. And then I can add my little elements here to create my scene. So here I have this little goose with her basket of strawberries and then a butterfly popped up with foam tape. And there are so many different designs that you can use here. The other choice I had was this really sweet little mouse. I think she would have been awfully cute on here too. So popping these elements up on foam tape also helps to create some depth on the card project, and it helps to bring them forward visually as well. Really fun way to create a scene with your pattern papers and your embellishments. The sentiment with love is from the Roses Dazzle set, and then I've got a gingham bow up at the top here too. Then for the card inside, I have another goose, and she's on a layered scalloped square with a "Just for You" message. Now that message is actually fussy cut from this cutout from the paper pack. So you could use this whole piece together, or you can just trim out the sentiment and glue it on here, which is what I did to create this card. Our next card puts the embossed die cuts in the center as a focal image, built up and accented with the lacy butterflies dazzles. So first we have our pink gingham paper, which I love, matted onto charcoal cardstock from the At the Lake collection, and I have a scallop dazzle border at the top and the bottom. So I assembled that whole piece and then glued it to the card front, and that gives me a really nice white border going around all four sides. Then for the focal, I have a large doily dazzle backed with white cardstock and then popped up with foam tape. And the cupcake and the bow are foam taped on top as well. The dazzle word happy right here is on a banner of vellum, which I die cut with the 8 labels for your greetings die set. So it's this large banner right here. And I've die cut that from vellum, and I realize vellum's a little tricky to see here, so I've done the same thing with a piece of plain cardstock, and then just folded this over at an angle, and then tucked this underneath my cupcake image. And I've added the word happy on here, and this is a really fun way to create some additional depth and texture on your card. And then I've got 2 more fussy cut images here, the 2 butterflies. These are backed with pale pink cardstock and foam taped to the card front. Now with the doily and the butterflies, backing those with a contrasting cardstock, this is a really fun way to accent those and again add some more depth to your card. A couple of tricks to keep on hand. Some sharp small scissors are going to be really important for this. Good lighting and maybe a little bit of patience. And some reading glasses will come in handy. And it's just a great way to add some additional texture on here and an easy way to do that too. Then for my card inside, I've got a label shape cut from the dies. And then I've got another cupcake, another bow, and some more of those butterflies. And I really love how the shine and the layers that you can get with that embossing on your die cut images, as well as that beautiful golden shine from the dazzles, really coordinates to create a fun and elegant card design. In addition to backing your dazzles with a contrasting cardstock, you can also use markers to color in the background after you've placed your dazzle down. And that's what I've done here with the front of this card. So I've got an image from the Roses set, which I've simply placed onto white cardstock, and then I've used tri-blend markers to color it in. So let's have a look at this. I'll move aside my card for a second. Now I've got a butterfly dazzle that I've already done some coloring in, so I just wanted you to see the difference between the two. And here's the rose dazzle simply placed down onto plain white cardstock. Now the tri-blend markers that I've used are the dark red and the light green. Now these markers are great. I've got a bunch of them. They seem to last me forever. I've had them for years. And what I really like about them, not only do you get some beautiful vibrant colors, but with each of these markers, you've essentially got 3 shades of one color in one marker. So I think you can see on here, this is the light green, for example. If I roll this around, you can see that you've got 3 tips. So you have the light, you have the mid, and you have the dark. So 3 shades of that green all in one pen. Same thing is going for the dark red. So this means that I've got some variety in those pens, which is really nice. So let's have a look here. What I really like about them too is that the tip is actually quite fine and quite stable, meaning that it's not a brush tip, so that you can get into some really fine areas when you're coloring in, which is useful when you're coloring in, for example, the flower or the butterfly. So you just need to come in and use the lines, those raised lines of the dazzle to guide the pen. Now, if you go over the dazzle line, it will color that too, which may be a look that you want. So you can see how easy that is to simply color in like so. So I've used the dark red, and then I've also used the light green for those leaves. And you can do some shading on here if you want to as well. Lots of different options as you're coloring in, but it's as simple as that, and it can give you a really beautiful look if you're combining just one marker like I've done here with the butterfly, or if you're using a couple of different colors there. So here I've used the lighter of the dark red to do the entire rose, and then I've used the dark of the light green to color in those leaves. And so what I've done first is die cut the square using the 10 square and scalloped dies, and that gives me some extra room here so that the swirls can overlap off the edge. And then the square is matted onto white scalloped cardstock, and I've got some foam tape in between here, and then I've got the layers of gingham and plain cardstock as well. This pretty floral paper is my background, and I've got some inking going around the outside edges here, also using that velvet fawn ink pad. Matted this onto some brown cardstock and then placed it on the front of my card. And again, I've got another gingham bow on here as an accent, and a little heart dazzle from that same roses set. Then for the card inside, I have a border of that gingham paper, the one that I love so much, and a border from the Dazzle set here, this beautiful dot and line border, and then the birthday wishes message. Our final project is a fun card layout that opens at the top as well as the side, and this is using the fancy foldovers cutting die to create that flap. And this is a new to me die, and wow, there is just so much that you can do with this set. Here you can see you've got 3 shapes included in the pack. You have a large fold over, you have the narrow fold over, this is the one I used for my card, and then you have the scalloped fold over. Now what you can do is use each of these individually, and I just used the one for my card today, but you can also combine 2 and indeed all 3 of these shapes together. So you've really got a lot of creative possibilities here. Now when I flip over the storage folder, you can see here you've got your project idea, you've also got some written instructions, and at the top you have your diagrams with your assembly, and the red markings on here are to indicate where you would apply your adhesive. Now for this, I really do recommend you use your extra sticky tape. That's just going to hold everything in place a little bit more securely when you're assembling this. So as I mentioned, I use the smaller of the foldovers, and it will look like this. So this is going to give you your scallop shape. It also gives you the score line on here, and this is your flap that will be folded over. So if you die cut your piece and it looks like this, you'll fold this tab over. I do recommend you use your bone folder to give that a nice crisp edge. And this is what you will add to the front of your card. Now again, I'm using the 5 by 6.5 inch card blanks from Paper Wishes. So I'll hook that onto the front, glue this to the inside back of the front panel of my card. And then I have my flap, which can open like so. Now I can do just one scalloped shape. I could also, as I've done with my card, cut 2 of those and then have my pattern paper, and I have this white cardstock, which will create a nice bit of definition between those 2 pattern papers. The choice is up to you. Now, if you want to do a side flap, you've also got the larger shape, and this can, of course, work on the side of your card blank too. So you've got lots of options. We haven't even explored all of them, so stay tuned. There's more to come, I'm sure. I really had a lot of fun with that die set. And I like this effect here too. So I've die cut this shape from the strawberry pattern paper, and again with the white, matted those 2 together, and glued that fold over flap to the inside of my card front. Now I've covered that flap on here with some of the charcoal cardstock from the At the Lake collection. And then here for the rest of the front of my card, when I open this up, you can see I've got a large shape from the Doilies Dazzle set, backed with green cardstock and then popped up with foam tape. And then the bouquet die cut is foam taped on top of that. Now I did want to show you here, here's another one of the Dazzles, one that has been backed again with contrasting cardstock. And I wanted to show it to you from the reverse side so you can see it doesn't look too nice on here. Got my foam tape on the back, but from the front it looks really cool. And so this is just a really great way to add some dimension and some shine to your project. So I've got those positioned here so that I've got room for the flap to close here at the top. And then when you lift this up, you can see this adorable mouse with the best wishes, and this is cut out from the paper pack. And it's foam taped so it looks like he's holding it and extending it to you. I also have some more Dazzles. I've got the smaller doily. I've also got some borders on here, and then this little bow accent piece too. And then I've also got on the top of the flap another small doily dazzle and a bow tied in 1/8 inch ribbon. Then for the inside, I've got some more of these sweet little animals with their strawberries and the hello there die cut or cut out from the paper pack. And that is our final project of the day today. So a big thank you to our friends at Paper Rose for this really sweet collection, and for Paper Wishes for their gorgeous dazzles, which just went perfectly. A big thank you to you for joining me today. We're really glad you're here, and we're so happy you're a part of the Paper Wishes family. Do feel free to leave a comment. We love to hear what you think. Each item can be purchased separately, and you can see them below. However, we've also bundled them into a creative money saver just for you. For the money saver, just see this webisode on paperwishes.com. And if you're watching us on YouTube, have a look in the description box below this video. You'll find a link that will take you to our Paper Wishes webisodes page, and you can see everything I just mentioned. If you enjoyed our video today, we'd really appreciate a thumbs up. It helps people to find our channel. And don't forget to subscribe. We create 3 to 5 videos each week, so there's always something fun to inspire your creative spirit.